Hello, folks. Hope we're all doing well. And thank you for joining today's webinar. Today we are going to look into unlocking the suspect's perspective in a DFIR investigation. So something nice to get our teeth stuck into today. So just to give you a little bit of information on who I am. So I am Tom Cross, obviously, and I'm the VFC technical manager here at MD5. So I not only deal with all the technical queries coming in regarding VFC, but I also aid the sales team with sales demonstrations, technical demonstrations, make sure everyone's got what they need. So if there's anything that you need help with in regards to the technical side of VFC, whether that's a dedicated demonstration, one-on-one, get in touch with me, more than happy to help. And if you're interested in any pricing as well, drop us an email and we're more than happy to give you that information too. Some of you may already know who I am, but if you don't, I'm quite a nice and friendly guy, so I'm more than happy to help you out. Now to just give you a little bit of background into MD5 as a company. So we were founded in 2003. We are the creators of VFC, which is what I'm going to show you today. But not only that, we have been aiding law enforcement, government agencies and legal firms since 2003, offering a wide range of digital forensic expertise and e-discovery, e-disclosure services as well throughout that time. But like I say, what we're going to focus on today is VFC. And that brings me nicely onto this slide. So VFC is built on 17 plus years of experience in creating virtual machines. And now we're on version 7, particularly the portable version. It gives a whole new dynamic to the way an investigator views that original data. And it doesn't matter whether you're a digital forensic investigator, cybersecurity investigator, or a incident response investigator, VFCs offers something that can help you all out, really. So the list that you can see on the screen there, the features included in VFC, it's not exclusive to this list, but these are some of the important ones that we're going to go through today. So obviously the first one, the fact that it doesn't alter the original data is quite important. That's the last thing we want to do. That's the last thing any digital forensic tool wants to do. So we've made sure it's pretty good forensic tool there. It's very easy to use. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll see just how easy it is to use. And it also creates those virtual machines within minutes, as well as having the other features included within that time frame as well. We've got various password bypass features. In some situations, especially in this case, which we're going to use today, it's quite a powerful feature to have. It's quite an important feature to have as well, to make sure that we get straight into this device without any issues. We've got a standalone VM functionality, which I'm going to touch on right at the end of this webinar. So if you keep that in the back of your mind for now. And we've got some new features in VFC 7 as well. So the single volume partition image feature that we've got, I'm going to briefly touch on that when we get into the actual process of using VFC. But it's a really nice new feature to have. Basically, VFC is capable of virtualizing these single volume partition images now. And I don't believe there's a tool out there that can do that at the moment, which is particularly useful for BitLocker as well. We've also got a really, really cool triage tool built into VFC. That gives you quite important information within seconds. And when I say seconds, it is seconds as well. And I'll show you that a bit later in as well. And we've also got an amazing inject files feature as well, which allows you to add any sort of tool that you need to the virtual machine so you can conduct your investigation in that sandbox environment. So, onto the case remit. This is obviously a fictional case for the purposes of this webinar because we need to keep all the other ones anonymous for obvious reasons. But we do see things like this all the time, so it's quite an apt fictional case. So we found an unexploded bomb at the London Eye. The bomb found at scene contained dynamite as its primary explosive. Now, the suspect we've got is James Smith, and he's been under surveillance, and we've got suspicion that he's been engaging in terrorist activity. The CCTV footage was reviewed from the area, and Smith was identified to have been there at the time that the bomb could have been placed. We've now received a warrant to attend Smith's home address to locate any digital devices. And when we were on scene, we located a laptop that was switched off. So that's at the point that we're at now. So we're on scene, we've got this dead box laptop. So what do we need to do next? And we've also got some intel there on his interests. So we've got Rage Against the Machine, which are a band if you're not aware of what they are. We've got email accounts as well that are linked to Smith. And we've also got the fact that he's a big gamer, specifically Pokemon. So, like I say, we're on scene. We've got this dead box laptop. What are we going to use today to get the information from that laptop to not only pass on to the team in the lab to make sure that their job is as efficient as possible, but also in order to get the right sort of information on scene to make sure that this suspect stays locked up. So the physical components of VFC Portable, the number one on the screen there is the activation key for VFC itself. So you'll need that in order to make sure VFC works. We've got a portable environment there, which is number two, which contains VFC Portable on there. It is a Windows to go environment, but the beauty of that sort of thing is that you can have any other tools installed on there that you need for your investigation, whether that's on scene. And the portable version of VFC can be used in the lab as well. We've got some really good stories as well if you want to get in touch with us afterwards where it has been used in the lab environment, just because sometimes it's difficult to actually get information or even remove a drive from a device. Number three on there is an external hard drive. You may be trying to get a lot of evidence, a lot of data from that original machine. So we need to have somewhere to store that. So we've got an external hard drive with us, and we've also got a USB hub there. But I'd also recommend taking some USB adapters too. We don't know what sort of ports are on these devices on scene, so we need to make sure that we've got all our bases covered. So I am going to move on to the next slide, but before I discuss what's actually going on here, how we've got to this point is because this is now the portable environment. So we've used what we've seen on the previous page, the physical components. We've gone into the BIOS of the original device. We've booted to USB only, so we're not switching on the internal drive. That's quite important, and that's one of the only stages where the human side of things needs to be correct. Human error, we want to limit that as much as possible, and this is the only stage in which that can go wrong. So it's quite nice that that's limited to that one stage. Once you've got there, boot to USB only, and we can even potentially switch that TPM chip off if there is one. So lo and behold, there was one for this device. We've switched it off, and we've been able to get into this portable environment. Now, that's not guaranteed to work, but we have had quite a lot of success, and we've heard of quite a lot of success stories for that. So once we've done that, we've actually booted now into this environment. So this is on the portable environment itself. We provide this background for you, just so you know that you are booting to it straight away. The last thing we want to do is boot to it and realize, oh, we've gone to the actual original data there. That'd be quite bad. So we'll provide that for you so you can recognize that straight away. And then it's a case of now seeing what we've actually got going on. So now I am using a video for this because some of you may know just how difficult it can be using online demonstrations. So there we are. And so we shall play that. If you just bear with me 1 second. There we go. So on here we have got VFC, obviously, and we've got VMware on there too. We have RAM capture tools on there. We've got some imaging tools on there as well. And we've got other tools on there too. So because we're using a Windows to go environment, that makes it perfect for this sort of scenario because we're not just limited to using VFC, even though that this is going to be the most powerful tool in this instance. But we may also need some other tools too. So we've got them on there just in case. That could be FTK portable to create an image. It could be malware analysis tools. It could be a specific software that you need to run inside the virtual machine to read certain document types. It all depends on what sort of investigation you've got. I would urge you to get in touch with me just so you can see, just so we can have a discussion of, can you use it for this? Can you use it for that? I'm more than happy to help you out in that instance. So please just get in touch. Now it's a case of opening VFC up and making sure we've got all the correct settings configured. And so straight away we go into it. I'm just going to quickly show you where the section is for the non-bootable partitions. And so we'll go there and we'll just let that zoom in. So there we've got the ability to, like I say, virtualize these non-bootable partitions. That is particularly helpful when it comes to things like BitLocker and stuff like that. So if you can get like a decrypted DD image, VFC should virtualize that no problem, which obviously BitLocker is an issue. But if we've got one of those image types, you'll be able to virtualize that and have a look at that just like the original, and which is really, really nice to have. So I'm just quickly going over that feature just to show you it. But now we're going to get into the main features that we need for this particular case remit. So we've got the ability here, as you can see on screen, to convert Windows Online accounts to local accounts and remove that local account password as the virtual machine is being created. And all these features here work just having that box ticked. Again, so easy to use and can be taken for granted sometimes. I know I particularly take them for granted just because I use this software quite a lot naturally. But if that's ticked, you'll be straight into that desktop. Now, because we're on scene at this point, it's quite important that we do get into this without any issues. And naturally, this suspect on scene is not wanting to give his password up. So we're going to have these settings selected to make sure that we can just get straight into it without any hiccups. We have also got the ability to disable Windows S mode as well. If you're not aware of what S mode is, it's like a Chromebook OS where it's all slimmed down, and in this instance, you can only download Microsoft tools from the Microsoft Store. You can't have any third-party tools on there. So when it comes to using our password tools and other tools inside the virtual machine using the next feature, it makes it quite difficult to do. In fact, it makes it impossible to do. So we've got a feature, and we're kind of ahead of the curve here at the moment. So we're kind of proactive adding this feature in. But if we've got this ticked, we've got no issues. Whether it is S mode or not, it doesn't matter. We're just getting straight into it, and that's what we want. It's an incident response at the end of the day. We need to get in there as fast as we possibly can. And that leads me nicely onto the add files to VM feature. So we need to add files into this to potentially analyze other things going on inside this virtual machine or anything like that. And it's a case of pressing those three buttons in the bottom right-hand corner. Something else that's quite important is having the software right blocking behavior enabled in VFC. So I've gone to the settings tab now. If these aren't ticked, you'll need to tick them, shut VFC, and then reopen VFC to allow those features to take place and to activate. If they aren't ticked, you are risking writing data to the original drive. And now it's a case of letting VFC do its job and going through the process. So we've selected the drive, which is the internal one. And for the purposes of this, I am using an image, obviously. Then we select the partition. And this actually takes seconds to get to this point now. So I'm just going to pause it there. So we've got initial triage information here. So we're on scene, we've got this laptop, we're having a look through. At this point, we need to start looking to see if it's being used within the time frame of the investigation, to see if there's any links of this device, if there are any links between James Smith and this device. At the moment, all we've got is some dates of when it was last used, last booted, last shut down, the operating system. We have actually got a user account on there, the last user logged on, but that doesn't give us any information so far. So yes, we found out it's within the time zone of the time frame of the investigation. We don't have much more information than that here. So we're going to go into the triage log, which VFC generates this at the exact same time as well. Now with this triage log, I'm just going to pause the video for a second. We get the information on the main page displayed here as well. But then per user account, we get quite a lot of information, and I'll just let that run through, and I'll pause it at certain stages. So you can see there, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we'll ignore that. So we've got recently accessed files, and some things that I want to point out here is that we've got the Anarchist Cookbook. If you're not aware of what that is, there is some instructions in there on how to create a bomb using dynamite. We've got Brave Browser as the recently accessed application. We keep on to that one because that's the first one we're going to look at. Then a bit further down, you can see we've got Dynamite PNG and recently accessed documents. So we've got the recent files, recent applications, recent documents. A bit further down, and we've got recent URLs. We've got installed applications, which it's going to scroll to in a second. There we go. We've got Windows history. We've got Chrome history. Now, if you have a look right at the bottom of the screen there, you can actually see James Smith's name. So we've gone one step further now, and we've actually got the name on this device in this triage log with timestamps, with an email account. So we've got all that information there, timestamps, date, you name it, it's there. And we can go into this device now and have a look further in what's actually been going on. That's such important information at this point because we've actually linked this device to this person. And once we get into it, you'll see just how great it is. We've got Windows links there as well. And right down at the bottom, when we get to it, is connected USB devices to this machine. So if we've gone and seen and we've found this one laptop, yes, that's fantastic. We've found a laptop. And we booted this up into VFC, and within around 30 seconds at this point, we have found that, oh, it's had all these USB devices connected. Maybe we need to go have another look for these USB devices. Naturally, USB devices are small, and it may be quite difficult to find those. But it's definitely worth another look to see if there's any information there. And now it's a case of creating a virtual machine because we found all this information. We actually need to see what's going on. So if you notice there, I clicked Make New Virtual Machine, saved it in a place where it needs to be saved. So that can be a created file. In this instance, I've just saved it on the desktop. And then it takes, again, seconds now to generate this virtual machine. And then because we've got scripts built in to work with VMware, we're going to launch now, and that's going to open up VMware for us. And then it's a case of just waiting for it to load like it would be waiting for the original laptop to load up. While this is loading up as well, I do just want to mention that we have a course available for VFC. That if you've got VFC at the moment, I'd urge you to take that course. It's going to give you a certification in being able to use VFC. So if it ever gets questioned in court, you've got the right certification to say, look, I am trained to use this software. If you are considering purchasing VFC, the same sort of thing. We want to make sure that you've got everything you need in order to use this efficiently. So I'd urge you to take that course as well. While I've been discussing that, you can see I haven't even had to type anything in on the user account login page. It's just taken me straight to the last user logged on. So you can see just how powerful those password tools are in that instance. So that's absolutely fantastic. So that brings me nicely on to the next slide, where we're actually going to go into a couple of things inside this virtual machine, some quite important things, because we need to start now finding the information to back up the intelligence that we've received on this James Smith. Couple of things that I noticed straight away here. We've got the background, Rage Against the Machine. That's the intel, some of the intel we've got on James Smith. So now we're starting to build provenance at this point without even having done anything inside his virtual machine. I know because I'm a Pokemon nerd as well, but I can see a couple of Pokemon on there as well. Pokemon images on there and a Pokemon folder on there. So we're starting to build provenance at this point without having even really done anything. Casting your mind back to what we found in that triage log is the Brave browser. That was a recently accessed application. So that's the first one we're going to actually look at when we get inside this virtual machine. So we're going to open that up here and see if we can find any information. Now, if you're not aware of what Brave browser is, it's a privacy-focused browser, and I'm just going to pause the video at this point. It's a privacy-focused browser, which in turn makes it quite anti-forensic. It makes it quite difficult to pull information through from. And we found that there's quite a lot of tools out there that struggle to decode the information from it, or simply just can't pull information from it just because of the nature of what it is. With VFC creating these virtual machines, you've got access to absolutely everything here at the state that this was shut down. So in this instance as well, it's proved quite integral that we've got VFC involved in this investigation because we've actually got cached data at this point. So the intel we've got is that we found a bomb at the London Eye. Lo and behold, here we've got a cached web page of a star over the London Eye with opening times and everything like that. So we've actually got the location there. If I keep playing, we've got the Anarchist Cookbook here. Like I say, the Anarchist Cookbook teaches you how to create a bomb with its primary explosive as dynamite using household items. So we've got that there. And so I'll let it just scroll through that for a second. We've also got a page here, can you buy chemical weapons on the dark web? We've got the Tor browser installed. You can see up at the top right in the link part there in the search bar. The Tor browser is actually installed. We've got more information here of how to make nitrocellulose. The amount of times I've said that, I'm pretty impressed with myself that I can say it now without any issue. We've got our flash paper, which is much more easier to say. On to the next page. Can you make ammonium nitrate from household products? I know you didn't quite catch that there. You can see we've got Rage Against the Machine. Again, we're building provenance. And we've also opened the Brave wallet here, which is cryptocurrency. Now, we have got a couple of testimonials for cryptocurrency where we did manage to actually access it with ease inside a virtual machine. So I'd urge you to get in touch with me regarding that one afterwards to set up a separate one-on-one so I can talk through that with you and just show you how powerful it is for that. But I don't want to focus on that too much because of the case remit that we're looking at. But we've potentially got access to that information there. Rage Against the Machine again, provenance. We go into the history. Now, this obviously isn't pulled through anywhere because it's privacy focused. But if we link this to the date and timestamps in the triage log that we've got, we can quite clearly see that this is used with, we've got quite an extensive list of history there. Now, another thing that I want to show you is the fact that we can access proprietary databases, purpose-built databases, or even obscure databases. But it's not just linked to that, it links to all applications as well. So whatever it is, you've got access to these sort of things inside a virtual machine. Whether it's in a license period or not as well, it's absolutely perfect for that sort of thing is VFC because you can use it to put the time back. So if it is a licensed application, doesn't matter, we can still get you access to that. So I'm going to open up this cheat book here, a 2022 gaming cheat book. That's actually from Germany. Now, I'll be very surprised if you know what this is, but it doesn't matter if you do, because I've got access to this inside the virtual machine in its original format, in its natural format. So I can start understanding what's going on here without having to go elsewhere to find this application, to download it in the hope that it's exactly the same, containing the same information and everything like that. Other forensic tools do struggle naturally with this sort of thing, but you've got full access to it inside the virtual machine. Not only that, you've got full access to the specific version, all the settings and features that the original user had enabled or disabled, and you have access to all the features there as well, so you can actually start using the processes inside this sort of inside this database. So I'm going to do a search for Pokemon, see if something's there, and in this instance that's going to provide provenance. So you can see I've got Pokemon there, but this could be a financial database. So if you're doing any financial investigations or anything like that, absolutely perfect. You can start using that. You can start extracting documents if you want. So with this one, I can right click, save as a text file. Because of VMware Tools, which is a free extension for VMware, I can then add that onto to my host machine, or in this instance, the portable environment. There's so much more I can sit and go through at this point of what we can do inside virtual machines. Now, I would really urge you to I know I keep saying this, but get in touch with me so we can sit down and discuss this. Virtual machines are so undervalued in investigations. They're not used nearly enough, in my opinion, just because of the sort of information they can give you. I feel like they just offer so much. But because that they're not used, it sometimes gets lost what you can actually do inside them. So I'd urge you to get in touch with me so I can just show you what you can do, even if it's just to give you a refresher of what you can do, because we can just do so much in this. So going on to the next slide, I want to show you where the injected files have gone. So they are actually put into the C drive at this point. So I'm going to open up a file explorer. I'm going to go into this PC, into the C drive, and you'll see the injected files that I've put in there. Like I say, I can sit here for hours on end discussing what sort of things we can put into the virtual machine at this point. But like I say, it all depends on what you require for the investigation. So you can see there, files added to this folder can optionally be added automatically to each new VM. And on that as well, you're not limited to what you're not restricted to what you can inject. You can inject something different every time as well. Not one investigation is going to be the same. So why would you want to inject the same tools every single time? So it's all dependent on what you need. It's a really powerful tool. We've had fantastic success stories off that as well, like we have all our other features. But if you want to know more, as always, just get in touch with me. So I've got a couple of screenshots here now, which are to highlight just how important having visual evidence is to an investigation. So on the left there, you can see a jump list. It might not mean a lot to you at this moment, but if you take this to court and show a judge and a jury, or even just take a report to court and just show a judge and a jury tell them what's going on, they may not understand. Things like this aren't really taught in school. No one knows what a jump list is unless you've got prior knowledge of what a jump list is. When I first started at MD5, I did not know what a jump list was. And then it was just left at that. That was one of the first questions I got asked. The next day, when we sat down to start having a look through VFC, to start my training, everything like that, one of these was opened up and I was asked to describe what was going on. And this is perfect because I can sit there and explain exactly what's going on at this point without actually knowing the name of it. And that's perfect for court. Having that there, people understand what's going on. But not only that, even for yourselves as investigators, cybersecurity, incident response, digital forensic, to see it in its native original format is so much easier to understand than having a look at it using other forensic tools. Now, I'm not saying replace the other forensic tools because they are fantastic in their own right at what they do. But seeing it in this format just makes life so much easier. That one on the right-hand side is a sticky note, a Post-it note. That's just on the desktop. And I know it looks quite pathetic just sat there. But other forensic tools find it very difficult to get this sort of information, to pull this information through from the original. But with VFC, we've got full access to it in its original format. You can actually see what's going on. We had a recent case here as well. And I know I keep urging you to get in touch with me, but get in touch with me. I can talk more in more detail about it because I know we push for time. But yeah, having that information visually and that actually showing incriminated evidence, important evidence, important information, just takes the credibility of any investigation to a whole new level. So you can see there we've got purchase ingredients for dynamite on the dark web, used cookbook to make bomb. It's black and white. It's very difficult to interpret that in any other way than what it actually is there. So that's quite handy as well. Now we have got quite a big case, and this is readily available for anyone if they want to go online and search for this case. It was a case done by Oklahoma State Police, and I think it's entitled "How to Plan the Perfect Murder." Get in touch with me. I'll tell you more about it, and I'll probably send a link as well in the next mail shot that we send out too, just so you can have a read up on it. But in a nutshell, it was circumstantial evidence until VFC got involved and actually found, okay, there's so much going on here, like how to dismember a pig carcass and how to get rid of a body and things like that. So VFC actually got that over the line, and it would have just been a dead case otherwise. So that's quite nice as well. So this brings me on to one of the last points that we're going to go through, and that's the standalone virtual machine. So I've talked about screenshots. You could even go as far as getting screen recordings as well for your reports to take to court. But I don't think there's anything more powerful than having the full thing there to show what's actually going on. And not only for court, but for other departments, different teams. If you ever need to show an officer or a different team or even a customer, depending on what sort of work you do, what's actually going on without any consequence, create them what's called a standalone virtual machine. Now, once you've created a virtual machine, this allows you to create a standalone copy of it that doesn't require VFC present or the original image or device present for it to work. So you've got a fully functioning virtual machine there that only needs an emulation tool like VMware, or in this instance as well, VirtualBox, because it's the same file type, so you can use VirtualBox too. And take that to court, and if you get a question asked for, but how did this person do this? You can be like, well, haha, I have this virtual machine here that I can actually show you what the original user would have done. And that just goes so far. That's so powerful when it comes to that sort of thing. And you've probably heard this saying so many times, a picture paints 1,000 words at the end of the day. You can have pages upon pages of a report, but if you've got screenshots and stuff in there, that's so good. Now, I want to quickly show you a report, a dummy report that was put together. Now, I'm not going to show you it all, but I'm just going to show you what we've actually put in just using solely VFC. So it is for this case, this fictional case. So we've got triage information there when it was last shut down, last used, guest operating system, all that sort of information. Last user logged on would have been James Smith on the user account information. We've also got there recently used applications, which you can see Brave Browser. A bit further down, triage information, noticeable ones, I'll get my words out. Anarchist Cookbook, we've also got cryptocurrency there. And then we've started getting these screenshots. Absolutely fantastic. And it just shows so much more of what's going on. So it just backs up any sort of evidence you've got and just pumps your credibility up tenfold. So you've got all that information there. I'm just going to quickly go through it, but you can just see the amount of screenshots we've got in there. And we've got a 16-page report that was written solely using VFC. And I just think that's absolutely fantastic. It just goes to show you what VFC can do. So thank you for listening, everyone. I really do appreciate you joining. And if you've got any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them now for you. So I think we may have some in chat. Yes, we do. So does it let you know presently connected USB or ones that were there before? So because it's Deadbox, it's going to tell you ones that were presently connected. So it's not going to tell you about ones that were connected. Now, if there's one already plugged in, then that should be at the top of the list to USB devices connected to this machine. Eamon, if you want to get in touch with us afterwards as well, let me know and we can sit a one-on-one and I can show you what that sort of thing does. I'm more than happy to help you out there. Is that the only question? That means I've definitely answered everything correctly. So it's nice to know. If anyone does have any questions, please get in touch with us. If Megan could repost the training link as well, I just want to reiterate the importance on that training. If you do already have licenses, please consider doing that training. It's just going to make you essentially an expert in the software. And if you are thinking about purchasing a license, get in touch with us, and we'll tell you the best route to getting that all installed and getting the training done and everything like that. And if you do have any questions as well, after this, if you want to email me at tom.cross@md5.uk.com, and take a screenshot of that if you need, or write it down. Even if it's just to say thanks for the presentation. More than happy to receive that sort of praise. But yeah, get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to help you out. Yeah, thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you very much, Megan. Yes, as well, I just want to say thanks to Megan for putting this on, and she's an absolute superstar in the background too. So yeah, love that. I think VMware does not have password bypassers like VFC. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. VMware in our instance, we only use it for the emulation side of things. The password tools in VFC are really powerful. And if you want to do a session on that, because we've got three password tools built into VFC, get in touch with me as well. And I'll just show you how those work. Even if it's just the passwords you want to see, that'll take a 15-minute meeting between us both, and I can show you through that, Eamon, no problem. Is there any more questions? If not, I wish you all a fantastic rest of your day, and hopefully speak to you all soon.